they'll lynch you. But he did, and he laughs at
Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well, my friends. Happy Friday. We've done another week. Congratulations, everybody. Hope everyone is safe and well. If you're new around here, where the hell have you been? But if you could give us a little subscribe, that'd be lovely. Thank you so much. Right, it's Friday. And as traditionally what we do on a Friday, we do the old sort of phone-in show type thing. And so, yeah. So I thought what we'd do is where's the old thingamajig? If you fancy coming on, having a chat, you can. You're more than welcome to. I'm going to put the link in the StreamYard link so you can come on and join us live, or alternatively what you can do is you can call us. Let me just get that up as well. Jeez, not very well organized today. There we go. Show that. And you can call us. So you can call us, and there's a number there. There's a UK number and a US number, or a US number, international number. Lots to talk about. Obviously, we've had the damp squib that was the transfer window day been and gone. We've had obviously Harrison Ashby leaving, Longelo going on deadline day. Obviously, a lot of people talk about the youth team. That being said, we actually, because it's such a hot topic, we're going to have Tony Carr on next week. Probably, I think it's Wednesday now. Wednesday night, he's going to be coming on for a bit of a chin wagon, talking about the youth team, the academy, or maybe our perception of what the academy is all about. And yeah, I think it's going to be quite fun. So make sure you join us. That'll be next Tuesday, off the top of my head. So keep an eye out for that, please. And then obviously we've got the Newcastle game. Coming up, haven't we? What's going to happen there? We're going to have the press conference later on. What we do with John T. Coleman from Football London in association with the Football London guys, we present the press conference, and then we've got loads of other stuff as well. And he's just in the chat. I'm just about to give him a plug, but we'll have Irish Tommy. He'll be on tonight. The Late Show of Irish Tommy, I think. If he's now, so that'll be on tonight. So keep an eye out for that. As per usual, should be good as always. And we should have also Holly doing Tweet All About It this weekend as well. We'll have the predicted 11s. We'll have a piece this afternoon, actually, an interesting piece this afternoon, looking at Will Still. Everyone's talking about him. So Anton's gone into a bit more information about this, about the Rem manager, who's a West Ham fan who's learned all these tactics from Football Manager, and could be an interesting possible person for our next manager at West Ham. So, we're going to be talking about that as well. So loads to talk about. So I'm really looking forward to this over the next couple of days. And hopefully we win the game as well, which is even nicer. Who we got in the chat? Let's go through the chat. We got Ludders in the chat. Good afternoon to you, Ludders. Hope you are well, my friend. Nice to see you as always. I like doing my lunchtime lives on a Friday. It gets me ready for the weekend. Afternoon, Toby's in the chat as per usual. Nice to see Mr. Toby. Could have done without lunch without looking at Moyes in the dressing gown. Yeah, I thought. Look at that picture. I love that picture. Really, that makes me giggle. That picture. But yeah, we could have probably done without Moisey there, to be honest. Does take you off your lunch, isn't it, Tobes? I know it has. Bless you. Yeah, it's yeah. I've got a great picture for the press conference. I do like these stuff. What else we got? Obviously, Irish Tommy Minay's in the chat. Cummy Wines is in the chat. Good afternoon. Steve's in the chat. Nice to see you, Steve. Obviously, we know Irish Tommy's there. Pete Chelmsford, hope you're well. Nice to see you. Frano's in. All the usual suspects. Luke's in. We've got Cross Hammer. Sharky gifted Cross Hammer a channel membership. So welcome. Actually, we'll have to do that. I haven't put Cross Hammer in the. I haven't put him in. I haven't done that. Updated it yet. I'll do it later on. I've got to do the press conference thing with John T. So I'll do it for that, just to make sure we get everyone in. Could blackmail Moyes that picture to pay some youngsters? Could do. Russ, I can never unsee that picture of what you cannot, and I will put it up several times just to put you all off your dinner and off your lunch. There we go. Look at that. Look at that handsome man. Beautiful man. Beautiful man. Early finish, like good, nice. Always good to have an early finish on a Friday, Adrian, in it. And we had last night we had Kendall, who's a Newcastle fan. She came on and was brilliant. I thought she was fantastic. I really enjoyed listening to Kendall. You know, she's quite a level-headed football fan, and we put together, you know, probably about 45 minutes, an hour or so. It was a really good chance to listen to someone who's in the midst of Newcastle and how they're you know, how the transformation there and why it's happening, and very evident that obviously all the stuff about Eddie Howe. And we spoke about the fact that, you know, we don't talk about Bruno this weekend because Bruno's not there, and some of the other players as well. And, you know, I am pretty much 99% sure Harrison Ashby will be on the bench for the Newcastle game. Knowing them, they'll probably whack him on, won't they, for 20 minutes to spare, just to really rub it in and give him his Premier League debut this season. And then also we had John Curtis, who's head of sport for the Sun. He came on and did a little bit of a thing with the We Are West Ham podcast, guys. Let me just text Mrs. Budden. Mrs. Budden always calls me. There we go. Done. Webley, nice to see you. Hope you're nice. What are the chances of Mbama won't be on the bench? It's a good point. We'll do our predicted 11, me and Anton, we'll do that big up tomorrow. But you did your predicted 11s as well, the West Ham Network community. Based on injuries, for me, you know, like someone like Skarmaka he had his last medicine injury, I call it, a medicine injection rather. Ings won't be there. I think he'll be on the bench. I can see him being on the bench because there's no option. It's too early for Cornet, really. I'd say he only got back on Monday, so to feature in any of the squad, I think he's a little bit premature. We'll probably find out a lot more after the press conference, in all honesty. Yep. Can you drop me and Flo into Hornchurch so I can have a glass of wine tonight? Bloody hell. Yep. Should be okay. I could probably walk, to be honest, anyway. Thank you very much. It was a good show. Yeah, very canny lass. She's brilliant. Yeah, Kendall. Really, really good. And hopefully, obviously, we'll be playing Newcastle again soon. So we'll be able to get her back on. And yeah, last night was a great show. Kendall was a really decent girl and a quality pundit. Pretty good. No, Kendall was very good. We had a good fun. Evening, Alan. Good evening to you. What happened here we go. What really annoys me at West Ham is they say so-and-so we're back in a week or so, then ends up being a month or two. You're right. And the Cornet thing, I think, we've had, and we've had them before, isn't it? These impact injuries. Remember, we had one last season with being Cresswell, where Cresswell had, you know, didn't he break his arse on the goalpost, and it was an impact injury, and they can never tell until the swelling goes down. And the same with Cornet. I think Cornet originally, I thought, oh, it's just a knock. It actually became worse and worse and worse. You know, you're looking at, I mean, they did say that Zuma's likely to, I think this is a game too soon for Zuma. I can see Zuma maybe being back for the Chelsea game, if not the Spurs game, I reckon. I think Skamaka will be back next week in some guys in the squad. I think Ings will be the week after. And I think Cornet maybe next week. You know, it's had a week and a half. Maybe even on the bench. We'll see. What is Kendall's? Her YouTube site is pretty dormant at the moment, but you can get Kendall Rowan. Go onto our Twitter feed and you can see she's on Instagram. She's on TikToks, and so are we. We're at West Ham Network on the TikTok. If anyone is a TikTok person, we are on in fact, someone said to me the other day, "Oh, I saw you on my TikTok." And I said, well, there you go, you see. So we do little TikToks, so keep an eye, a bit of fun. Ashley will probably come on with 10 minutes to score the winner for them, just our luck. You could probably put your money on that's going to happen. It's been said that Cornet has an affliction called workititis. Yes. I think he's one of those players, it seems, who he won't play if he's not 100%. And I think, when are you rarely 100% fit? You know, there's always a little niggle somewhere. I can see Scammy back for tomorrow's game, or at least getting some minutes. Sad story is we didn't get any players. It's very true, Frano. We didn't. I don't think he'll be back for in the squad tomorrow. I said he had his injection on Wednesday. Again, we'll find out more tonight with the press conference. But he had his thing last night, on Wednesday. He had his last injection to his knee, and he did say last week, Moisey, on last Friday's press conference, that he was fine. He was just having the injections, and they were helping his knee issue get a bit quicker in terms of recovery. So I don't think he'll feature. I think it's a bit too soon. Hopefully, if Ashley comes on, he'll score on an own goal like he did for the under-21s. What's the TikTok name, Russ? West Ham Network. Would you be surprised if it's West Ham Network? Love a bit of TikTok. Haven't had a boring poo in 2 years. Well, we do a little funny thing. I did a funny thing today about Newcastle and how, we're miles away from seeing the game and things like that. We do little funny ones as well as more newsy stuff, bit of everything. Is the under-21 game against Monaco tonight? Monaco? Are they playing Monaco? Wow. Are they playing Monaco tonight? Let's have a look. West Ham, Google. West Ham, under-21s. Monaco? Yes, they are. Wow. The Premier League International Cup. Wow, fair play. It's 7 o'clock kickoff. I'd imagine if it is, it'll be on the West Ham one. Obviously, it looks like we're playing at home, and so we do tend to put the home games on. Usually, Jimmy Walker's usually the commentator. Russ, were fans allowed at David Goldman? Only saw players. Nope, didn't see any fans there. No, I didn't see any fans there. I think it was a private one for employees and fans and players and ex-managers. Obviously, Slav was there and a few ex-players as well. I think it was just the same as a funeral. It's like they did say the procession where it was going. So obviously they went to Upton Park and then back to the London Stadium for the funeral. But no, I don't think didn't see any fans there. That's for sure. Have you heard? Is an attacker, not midfielder. Have you got anything about this? I heard this on Well, he's an attacker. Cornet has played pretty much all the way along that left-hand side. He's played a lot of games left wing, left fullback. He's played up front as a left two. So I would put him down as an attacker in the same way I would put Ben Rama as an attacker, really, rather than a midfielder. But West Ham, they do everything. They do everything in it. Always has been. Yeah, that's what I mean. I never knew anything. I mean, for Burnley, he played at the front of a sort of the front left position, forward left, inside left, whatever it was. But yeah, I think the under-21 game probably will be on the YouTube channel. I think, in all honesty, I think is because they tend to try and get the traffic via that. And as I said, Jimmy Walker's usually on kind of colour commentary, which is usually quite fun. He's quite good. He's a good lad, I told Jim. We need to get him back on. There's loads of players we need to get back on. What do you think about Matt? Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it? £46. And actually, the Forest game, they're only playing. They're not even hitting for the Forest game. I think they're only doing. It's a lot less, isn't it, than the actual £30? I think it's like £26, and they can cap at £30 or something like that. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous. And why they can't do it for all domestic games, I don't understand. Rather than just the Premier League, why the FA can't say it? Because for me, you can go to, say, you'll go to Man United, away, and you're paying 30 quid in the Premier League, and you go again and you've got to pay £46. Where's the sense in that? You're probably seeing a lesser team as well. You're not seeing your Premier League side, you're seeing your cup side, particularly for a lot of teams like City and Chelsea's and things like that. They play a reduced side, really, don't they? So for me, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And someone needs to say something about it, because it's, I'll be interested to see who else is playing. Chelsea got knocked out, didn't they? It'd be interesting to see what, like, a Liverpool or a Man City, what they were charging for comparison's sake. I expect Mbama will play tonight, so do not expect him to see him in the squad. I expect him. It's not necessarily. It'd be interesting to see what they do. But a lot of times we've had the players play in the Friday game and actually still be in the squad. We did it for the Everton game last week, the week before last. Where he was on the bench, and the under-21s played Everton at Goodison Park, or the or wherever they play the games in Everton, the Everton games, and then I think they arrived at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning to then be on the bench. So the same thing can happen for the youth team players. If they're not starting, they'll be more likely to. There's a higher chance of them doing both, doing double duty. You've seen that happen quite a lot. How long until Cornet's back? I know it's soon. Well, he got on. He's been around. He's been away for 3 to 4 weeks in France with this person, with this physiotherapist person, and as you said, his injury is the most. He's only seen it once in 25 years or something ridiculous like that, and he is going to and as he reported back in training on Monday. Anyone who watches his Instagram or whatever, he's been doing some quite weight leadened training in terms of, so it's not like he's been just walking about for recovery. He's been putting a lot of effort in. So I think this week will be too soon for him. I think you're more likely to probably, I reckon you might see him on the bench next week. Because again, it takes a lot for him to go straight into the first team, isn't it, really? So yeah, 4 points in the next 3 games needed. We need win, lose, draw for the rest of the season to give us 42 points. Michael, well worked out. There we go. I honestly don't think we'll need 42 points. I think the way the league is, I think it'd be nice to get as many points as possible, but I think 38 might be enough to stay up this season, but I don't want that to be a case. I want us to try and get as many wins as we can, because we need them. We need them, don't we? We bloody need them. We bloody need them. So we'll keep an eye on how we're doing throughout the season. Forest were only charged 30 quid for the semi-final. See, where's the sense? That's a semi-final, and they would have released tickets before they had the before they played the first leg, wouldn't they? And also, I imagine for the semis, they probably also have to give a 9,000 allocation in the same way they're doing to West Ham. Cornet will get injured in training his way. Indeed. Totally. Knowing the West Ham, it is the West Ham way, isn't it? I mean, look at, Danny Ings and stuff like that. Cheers, Scott. Nice to see you. Hope you're well. Hope's all across the pond. Lovely to see so many of you. It really, really is. As I said, we've got loads of stuff coming up this week, as we always do. Obviously, yesterday we had the opposition chat with Kendall. We had, what was it? The thingamajig. Oh, God. My brain's gone to mush. We had Sean Curtis from the Sun. We've got the preview, sort of the predicted 11 later on. That'll be tomorrow. We've got Late Show with Irish Tommy on tonight. We should have tweet all about it with Holly as well. We've also got the press conference stuff. So there's loads, and then obviously we've got the watch along, the review show, the final word, 5 things we've learned, the ratings, all that type of stuff. And then next week, as I said, we should be really nice, should be really fun next week, and really interesting, because we'll have Tony Carr on the channel, talking about the academy, talking about the youth team. So from a learned, from basically Mr. Academy, he is Mr. Academy. So finding out more from him about what's the state of the academy, and I'll be really interested to find out what his view of the academy is now, and how he views the academy in a modern era. Because I think the viewpoint of the academy has changed, and it's not the academy; it's a development pool now. But that'll be quite interesting to see what he comes back with. Man U charging more because we are from London. Well, so are most of Man United fans as well. So there we go. Cornet was back in training on Monday. I think he was training in his own. So I don't think we'll see him into the Chelsea game. That's what I think as well, to be honest. If we somehow beat Newcastle, then we'll beat Chelsea and Tottenham and go on an amazing run. Trusting Moyes, we do. Yeah. I think. I mean, I know. I mean, I'm going to do the press conference in a couple of hours' time, and I know exactly what's going to be said. Big challenge. Eddie Howe's a good team, and we want to keep the momentum going. But it is all that, though. It is all that, because it's about having momentum. It's about keeping things going. It's about making, and we haven't had a lot to sing about this year, have we really? And so, a fair few up to Newcastle. So, we always get a good. The away fans are fantastic at West Ham, and it's a long old schlep up there as well. Newcastle games is always interesting. always find them interesting. Was it last season we had the where we just completely just caved in? I think didn't Dawes get it sent off for a lunge, and I think we lost like 2 or 3-0, I think, and then obviously we've beaten them there before, 4-2s, and as Anton said, I think that was his kid's first game last season. There's always it's always a bit of a crazy game, and I really enjoy a crazy game. Although Sean from the Sun was saying that he didn't think it was going to be much of a many fireworks because both defenses are reasonably solid. It's the attacking options, and we've started to find a few goals, so we'll see. Love to see a fit Cornet and Ings attack. If they come back fit, that would be a guaranteed goal factory. I think Cornet is a huge miss in the same way that Aguirre was a huge miss for us at the beginning of the season. And look at the difference that a fit Aguirre has now made to that back line. It seems so much more solid, and you can sort of see a little bit of method in madness of why we were so heavily, interested in him. And with Cornet, I just think he just gives that unpredictability and that, but not just that, but pace. I mean, Ben Rama can be unpredictable, but Benny hasn't got the lightning pace, and a fit Cornet really fast, really, really fast. Oh, goals! Wait a tick. We got wait a tick. We got a caller. Hello, caller. Who do we have?
Hi. Hello, it's Budgie.
Budgie. How you doing, my friend?
I'm all right, thank you, Russ. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. I'm looking forward to tomorrow now.
I am too, actually. I'm too. I think I'm in a bit of a minority though, Russ, because I think we can get 6 points out of the next 3 games. I think we're very capable of doing it.
Yeah, I think you can. Thing is, we know anything's possible with West Ham, innit?
Yeah.
Anything is possible, and so it's about momentum, innit? I think if as long as we don't get, I think if we get something in the Newcastle game, that puts us into the Chelsea game in good stead. But I think it really depends about how we have a go with them. To be honest, these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're more than capable of getting something from Chelsea because our recent history against Chelsea has been pretty good. In comparison to most other teams that are considered up the top there.
Yeah.
So I think we can probably go and take it to Chelsea. My one concern is the injuries that we've got, though. But I think I think he's got to utilise Ben Rama to the best of his ability. I think Ben Rama's been the most promising attacker we've had all season.
Yeah, he has. I think it's when to use him in the right time, isn't it? Because I think sometimes what you get with Ben Rama, you get in terms of a positive, but we know Moisey is a risk adverse manager, and so he does tend to not take risks, and I mean, I think Nobes talks about it in his book, saying he'd rather lose, he'd rather lose 1-0 than 4-0. So he'd always try and keep that defense. And obviously, there's the last 2 games, 2 clean sheets, 2-0 wins. Granted, it's Derby and Everton, but you can only beat who's in front of you. I think Newcastle, these next couple of games will determine whether that is a flash in the pan or whether it is an upturn. Really.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, you used the word momentum earlier, and that is the most important thing that we've got to take into these next 3 games is momentum. We can't sit back on these teams because, if you do, that's when you're in trouble with the likes of Callum Wilson, etc. They're the players that are really going to punish you if you sit back too much. I think we have to take the game to Newcastle tomorrow. I think we got. I said last night that I felt that it was going to be a 2-2 draw, and I felt that we might go 2-0 up before half time because we're quite capable of doing that, and we've done that on many occasions. Only to be thwarted later on in the second half. But I actually feel that if we go at this Newcastle team with the players like Ben Rama on the pitch and Paquetá on the pitch and stuff, I think we've got a good chance of confusing them. And David Moyes just has to let them play. He can't keep them on a rein too tight.
Yeah.
He's got to let them kinds of players play. You know, Paquetá's more than capable of ripping the defence open on his own.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
single pass and it's done.
Exactly, and it's a defence, and it's a midfield at Newcastle, which obviously doesn't have his best mate Bruno in it. This for tomorrow, and I think that's a huge thing for us because he's been on fire. And you know, you look at with him out that side, that midfield definitely looks a lot more lightweight, and they've got. I mean, we talk about injuries. They're playing one of their centre. I mean, considering how much money they've got available, they're still playing one of their centre backs as a left back, Dan Burn, and who's, genuine pace will be able to get past that Burn. He's a big lad, and so it's in terms of it's harder for him to turn around. So you think the likes of Bowen and Emerson really, he's really sort of come into it in the last couple of games. I think
I think Emerson would be quite important in the Chelsea game, if I'm honest. I mean, he's had some experience within that camp with some of the players that are still there. I think his knowledge of that will be invaluable. On or off the pitch. I think his knowledge will be invaluable to us at Chelsea. With the Spurs game, I'm never confident against Spurs. Never. I always want us to win, but I'm never confident. But I think the Newcastle and Chelsea games are both winnable for us. I really do believe that.
Well, I think with the Spurs game, it's one for me that's one of the things which form goes out the window with the Spurs game because it is, and we now, although we didn't, now we've got obviously as our sporting director someone who would go in and like he used to do when he's a player, sort of for particularly a lot of the newer players who have come in from maybe overseas, let them know how important that Spurs game is to the fans. And I think that's and that's something which when you talk to a lot of players, they don't realise the West Ham Spurs thing. So I mean the team will be up for that one. I'm not really worried about that one, I think. But Newcastle, I think the Chelsea game, they've obviously spent big over in the January transfer window again, and so that they'll take some time to still bed in. And there's speaking to Chelsea fans who are friends of mine, they're very much Potter's. It's going to be a slow burn, but we can see green shoots. So that so he's got time. I think it's. I think they've almost written off the season for them this year in the league by the looks.
I mean, my brother, he's a big Chelsea fan. He said a very similar thing, and he was ranting and raving about how good this Mudryk is.
Good player.
And I said to him, look, mate, you've seen him play in other leagues other than the Premier League. Don't judge him until he's played in the Premier League. I've now watched him in the Premier League, and my God, that boy's good.
Yeah.
He is good. I mean, he's going to be I think he will be as effective for Chelsea as Haaland has been for City. He'll have that impact, that drive, and I think he'll be a goal scorer for him. I really do.
Yeah, he's a good player.
But Chelsea have had a history of great players that haven't performed though. So let's just see. But that Mudryk does look like a good boy.
No, I mean, to be honest, they've, the players they've brought in, I'm very envious of some of the players they brought in because they're sort of what it seems to me, what particularly Potter. I mean, I don't think Potter's particularly good at managing sort of established players. The likes of Thiago Silva and obviously Jorginho went to Arsenal and people like that. So what he's doing, he's buying a high caliber of sort of young players that he would have bought at Brighton. So as you said, Modric,
kind of players that he can mould and turn into a gem.
You haven't got too much of an ego at the moment. So, Noni from PSV, the former Spurs youth team player, he went over there, and obviously Enzo Fernandez, obviously he's a World Cup winner, but he's still relatively, he's still very young. So I think, I know they spent a lot of money, but I think they're going to be forced to be reckoned with for the next couple of years, definitely for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think, a lot of people have underestimated the value of Graham Potter as well. I mean, the fact that he's capable and willing to look, down in the lower rank, the younger ranks for players to create, masters out of, and he's been good at that at Brighton as well. So, I mean, my brother, he said to me, he said, look, we're all very disappointed in the way the season's going.
Yeah.
but we can see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, unfortunately, we're unable to do that because, you know, with David Moyes, you know, a lot of us are very disenchanted because he doesn't seem to have the ability or the desire to adapt.
Yeah.
You know, to the game, to how he's, you know, how it changes. So, you know, we need a Graham Potter type manager, you know, and this guy Anton's looking into.
Yeah.
Am I right in believing he's the guy that did the championship manager?
Yeah. Will Steele, yeah. He's the Rem first team coach and in Ligue 1, and I think they're undefeated or whatever since he's taken over.
Yeah, have you seen the stats from the guy?
I know, yeah, it's crazy.
Unbelievable from a guy that's, you know, he's played a little bit of amateur football and stuff, but you know. Mate, a lot of the amateurs understand the game better than a lot of these.
Yeah. And I think, you know, tactically, he seems to be miles ahead of a lot of people. And it'd be interesting. I'd be interested to see Anton's thing. I think it'll be out later on today. So no, it's fascinating. And I've watched a documentary of him. I think it was Prime Video or something like that, Amazon, and the way he just, and it's something which I always regret never like speaking another language fluently. And the way he just comes in and out of speaking French and English to like the French players, because a couple of former Arsenal players who are in the Rem side, and so he's like fucking just put it in the net. You know, it's really funny and without missing a beat. And obviously he's a West Ham fan as well, so yeah, we'll see what happens. But it might be a step too far, but it'd be interesting to see what Anton comes up with later on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've got my notifications set up for that, so make sure everyone else has, and hit the like button, everybody.
Good man.
And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, please do.
Just do it for me, buds. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, mate.
No
problem. I'll let you get on. You're doing a great job. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you real soon, Rod.
Cheers, buds. Take care.
Cheers, mate. Take care. Bye.
Good old Budge there, as always. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add him. Can I change the number so I know it's him? I think I'm gonna do that. So it's gonna say add contact. No, I don't want that. I'll call him Budgie, so I know it's Budgie straight off. Anton that when he booked in, he's like, "How do you know it's me?" Right, yeah, no. As I said, Anton's doing a little piece about Will Steele, which will be out later on, probably about an hour or so's time. So it'd be interesting if you're interested about who this bloke is. Everyone's talking about on Twitter. We put together a little sort of package in terms of what he is. So he's quite interesting. As a Hammer, I want to win against this informed team so bad. In previous seasons, we'd take it to them, but this year it's just not realistic to win. And the trouble is, you know, when we're looking at people who are looking at the Newcastle side, unfortunately, they do have this man, don't they? We have Mikel Antonio's mate, Callum Bloody Wilson. So, and apparently Kendall was saying he hasn't scored very well, hasn't played very well this season. Welcome West Ham. So that's the trouble, isn't it? And it'll be like, yes, straight away, you know it's going to happen. On paper, I think we come seventh, look like our names of our players. Well, I mean, TTV, we did that towards the end of the transfer window, deadline day stream. You know, we put together, if we didn't have any injuries, and say we play back three, all gold. Wait a tick. Let me get you in. Hello, caller. Who do we have?
Hi, how are you going?
How you doing, man? Who we got?
You got Jim Ferguson from Australia.
Jim Ferguson from bloody Australia. How you doing, sport? Or with a I can't really do the Irish Australian thing. How you doing, man?
Yeah, not bad, cover.
How's the weather out there, man?
Hot this time of year.
Lovely.
I was just phoning because I'm real worried, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see us getting a point in the next 3 games.
And
I know. See, I'm disagreeing with Budgie, but
Oh yeah, everyone's got an opinion, haven't they, Jim? To be honest, I mean, you've watched the games as much as everyone else, and so it's your opinion against everyone else takes things out of the game differently. To everyone, there's every positive person at the moment. There does seem to be a person who isn't so positive, and there's nothing wrong with that. We've been West Ham fans for God knows how many years, Jim. So we're used to it, aren't we?
Tell me about it. Yeah. No, I can't see us scoring against Newcastle. They've got the best defence in the land, mate.
Yeah, good team. They are a good team.
And as for Chelsea, they might not be doing well, but Potter can always beat us.
That's a good thing. That's a good point, actually, because he always has our number, didn't he? When he was at Brighton, always had our number.
At Brighton, yeah, always had our number.
Yeah.
So, I hope I'm wrong, Ross, but I don't know.
Oh, God bless you, son. God bless you. No, I think it's going to be, as I said, tomorrow's game for me is all about what the last two games and people will look back. We've had an okay January for West Ham, particularly this season, and it's can we sort of have some momentum going into these February games? Because you said we're playing three good sides. Three sides are above us, although most teams are above us this season. At the moment. And so, but then, I was listening to an Everton fan channel the other day, and they're all doom and gloom, but like one guy who's obviously Mr. Positive over there was saying, look, one win, and we're out of the bottom three type thing, and it's so tight down there that any team that puts together 2-3 runs of games in a row picking up points will make a big difference in their league position. Huge position. So look, we'll see, man. Innit? We'll see.
I just can't see these three. Well, thanks, Ross.
No worries, buddy. Go on. I don't want to waste up any more of your cell phone time. There we go, man.
See you later, man.
Don't be a stranger. Cheers, Jim. Thank you, man. There was Jim. Big Jim from Australia. Big Jim Ferguson. Oh, God bless you. God bless you, Jim. God bless you. Speaking of Australia, Kieran's over. I think he's landed. Kieran's over here now. So where Jim's still over there, and Kieran was over there, now he's over here now. So I think he's landed. So Kieran, if you're in the chat, if you're here, welcome. Right, what we got here? Johnson not good enough. Okay, we're talking about Johnson. Moyes plays a defensive game. You're talking about us budgie attacking, and that's not the way we play. It's true. We don't attack. And we'll be setting up with three at the back and Rice and Paqueta. Well, definitely Rice as a pivot. Maybe Paqueta is almost like a half pivot, half out. Honest opinions, current form, Johnson or Kira, right centre back. Probably Kira at the moment, I'd say, to be honest. Best me. I'm not sure why. I feel my waters. We will get a draw, says Sharky. And obviously, Sharky was very kind to give Cross Hammers a gifted membership. And that's something apparently you can do in YouTube, although I can't see it. So if anyone does do it, let me know in the chat, and then I can say thank you. It doesn't come up on our little streaming thing. That's a tough one. Never mind. But if you're forced to pick one, to go with Johnson. Hey, Mike's in the chat. I'll take a draw, no doubt. Hey, well, Mikey, we are forced this weekend, sadly, with Zuma out. But then again, even with me, the way I see it, I still think there's a spot for that right-hand side. I don't think Oggy, it's an elder statesman role of that centre-back, centre of the three. For me, I think that's Zuma's role, because actually Zuma's not the most mobile person in the world. And in the centre, you don't have to be the most mobile. And if you put Zuma on the right-hand side of that midfield three, of that defensive three, someone like Kira, I think a informed Kira, for me, that's his role. And then that would be the three of them. But look, we didn't buy a centre back in the summer, so there we go. In the winter, so there we go. Gary Moore's in here. Sherry Moore, you Gaz, hope you all. Superstar goalkeeper, Gary Moore. I'd put Cressy in there over Kira. Well, if you put Cressy in, I'd move everyone along one. I wouldn't put Cressy on the right hand side. But there's still a role, I think, for Cressy in that back three. Sometimes, him, Kira, and Zoot. I don't know, but yeah, there's options. There are options. It'd be nice to have a few more options. But who knows? Maybe Louise Owl will come into the side. We'll see Moyes unleash the players once. I don't think we unleash them, but in terms of the way we're set up, it's not really conclusive. There's certain players who we will not. There's nothing we can say about it. Will be starters unless they've broke their legs fallen off. So at the moment, Fabianski starter again without a matter of that. If we're playing a back five, Emerson starts. I think at the moment Soufal starts at the moment. The way he's playing at the moment, I think he's playing quite well the last few games. Oggy will start at the moment because of a lack of options. Midfield, Declan Rice, Paqueta, they both start. And then the rest, and you've got Bowen. Then the rest is about 3 or 4 positions, maybe, where it could be one of a few people. Now, one of those positions is the forward position, and you would imagine Skamaka is first choice when he's playing, when he's fit. Then Antonio and then Antonio and Ings joint second, based on whether we need to get another goal and play 2 up front, or maybe Skamaka is taking a knock, or he wants to keep a battering ram on, then Antonio will come on. And then you've got so there's not a huge amount of players, then you've got the other position, or maybe you play Ings and Skamaka, then you've got, for me, there's not, in the 5 at the back, there's not a lot of flexibility, because ideally for me, I'd play 4-4-2. Just play bloody 4-4-2, innit? And you play the 4-4-2, and then I'd even play Emerson at left back, because I'd put Agard on the left side, Zoom on the right, if everyone's fit. Then right back, probably Soufal, if not Kira, if not Johnson. And then you've got midfield 4 of Paqueta, Rice, doing Rice defensive, Paqueta there, a left-hand side of Cornet, right-hand side of Bowen, up front, Skamaka, Ings. Job done. Move it. 4-4-2. Get it done. But it won't happen. Kira should be anywhere near the first team at the moment. I totally agree. He started with such a pomp, though, wasn't he? And then obviously we were playing at centre back, and then obviously he played that game against England again when Germany played England back in Wembley pre-World Cup, and he played right back, and he played right back. He was really good, and he just started getting injured again. Oggy has been playing well. He has been playing well, but he ain't gonna last, is he? I don't think he's gonna last this season. Yeah, for me, that's been his plan. Although I think the Kira one is a bit of a left field, because by his own admissions, I think the Kira one was as a result of Agard getting injured. So for me, and I think actually, to be fair, I think and actually he's mentioned it a few times in his press conferences when people talking about Naif or Nathan. Fucking reminds me of it's Naif. It's not hard. Even I can pronounce it, and I can't pronounce names properly. But he said that Agard, we can go to a back, or more likely a back 4, and I think eventually we will go back to a back 4. I think once we get a bit of confidence going, once we get a bit of solidity, I think eventually we'll go back to a 4 at the back. I think Zuma's more mobile than Oggy, though. I agree, but Zuma's not the most mobile, though, is he? I think you'd end up doing it again, and Zuma's a 2. Johnson right back, I think Kira is a problem. What's your team prediction? We'd have to watch the show tomorrow when me and Anton do it. 5-2-2-1 will be our plan. Yep, you're probably right. 5 at the back, 2-2, and then what's them up front? I fully understand that, but I just expressing my preferred approach to the game. I'm fully aware I ain't capable of implementing it, and that's what we do. So when we do our predicted 11s, we and you do the same in the West Ham Network community. We try and put together, what you think is going to be the 11, and we do the same, probably 50-50 what we would like and what we think is going to happen. What I would like is to play 2 up front, but we haven't got the players to play at the moment, so it's sort of like a bit of everything. But Ings is light years better as a striker than Antonio. It should be Ings and Skamaka. It should be, but that's if he played 2 up front. I think we will lose the next 3 games, and then we will win against Forest. I wonder if we have a full squad for our next. The next games are going to be in the 19th and the 16th of March. And literally, I just got a text to say it's the 16th of March is the home game, and so but we know that already because we won the group. So we've got another month and a half, or well, let's say we've got a month and a bit. So we should have a fully fit squad by then, I'd say, bar any extra injuries, touch everything. Because in terms of the people who are injured, Cornet is back. Cornet is back in training. Skamaka is had his injection, but they reckon probably next week. I reckon. Same with Ings, maybe the week after. Zuma is not going to be only for a couple of weeks. I said he was going to be out, and that's it. Everyone else is fit by then. But yeah, so it's good. If we win the next game we'll have 3 in a row. That'll probably boost our confidence a bit. Maybe we can snatch points against Spurs and Chelsea. You never know. When do you think Luis will get called up? I think next season or after. Sadly, I want to see him though. It's something I said to the boys at the We Are West Ham podcast, and we put the clip on. I think it was yesterday, on the channel. For me, Luis I think is a really interesting one, and again that to me shows a difference in the way that we're looking at the academy, in that he is played a load of games he's 20 or 30 games, something like that, for Sao Paulo, in the Brazilian Premier League, against the likes of Corinthians and big teams. And Sao Paulo are, so he's got experience of playing first team football, that's for sure. And obviously he seems to be doing all right in the 21s. I think he'll probably play tonight. I think he's coming in as the 4th choice. People said, we haven't got a replacement for Craig Dawson. I think he is, but I don't think he'll get game time at the moment unless there's a real, well, hopefully not, but touch wood, there's a catastrophe in terms of injuries and suspensions and things like that. As I said, I think his path to the first team is probably smoother than it was for Ajay Alese. And that's a function, not just as a function of football, that's a function of life and work. The player, the guy who's been there for years and years and years in the office gradually gets to a ceiling point, and then they go and hire someone in at a higher level. And he might have less experience than this person here, but regardless, he goes in at a higher wage and stuff like that. And that's what happens, I think. We it looks like we're going to buy these players from Sao Paulo, from Linfield, and they're going in at a higher level than maybe kids who have been there for the age of 10. And as I said, you look at who we've got rid of recently, all of them have been what I call proper academy players. They've been 10, Alese, Longello, Ashby, these guys from like 9, 10, 11, all the way up through the age groups. So it's almost like they've become part of the furniture. And that's just the way I perceive it. But anyway, it'd be nice to see up front. It certainly would be. Big man, little man, not going to happen, but I'd love it. What do you think is realistically points goal for the next 3 games? I honestly think we'll win one of those 3 games. I really do. So let's say, realistically, 4 points. 4 points. And I think we naturally, when we play the bigger teams, we play less possession based game, and we nullify and we try and make them angry, because we're not going to give them the we put 2 banks of 4 and that's it, or two banks of 4 and a 5 really, and one up front just running the line. And we'll, the Chelsea game, if again, it's dependent about the game tomorrow. If we win the game and we come with some nice momentum into the Chelsea game, we have a good game, pick up something, the crowd will be a bit more susceptible, maybe. Particularly, 3 in a row, sort of unbeaten, like 4 unbeaten type thing. And it's always Chelsea, so it'll be good atmosphere. And then the Spurs will be a good atmosphere at Spurs. So there's always, it's the Forest game I'm more worried about, to be honest. My heart says 5. My head says 2 or 3. Did anyone see Alan Kerbersley on Friday? Did Kerbs go on there? Kai, I hope you're well. Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. Ages. Seems as though a lot of players don't rate Ben Johnson. I don't think he had a bad game Monday. I think he's all right. Played all right. Plays all right. He does. Moyes won't have any choice but to give some of the youngsters a chance to go in Europe, as we will pick up injuries. We'll wait and see. We've got still 6 weeks until there. I love Emerson. I don't want him to get dropped, but the formation that we play, do you think Cornet could play left midfield? I think if Cornet comes into the side, he doesn't go left wing back. He goes left of that. So we tend to play if we play 5 at the back, it'll be 3 plus the wing backs, then 2 midfield, then 2 attackers, and then a striker. And for me, it will be eventually, well, what it should be is the starting strike should be Skamaka, and behind him will be Bowen and Cornet. That's what I think will happen. I think we'll get a draw against Newcastle as long as Johnson plays in the back 3. He ain't bad. He never plays. If he gets a good run, he can look better. He's a good technical defender. How things have changed. Last season, we went up there and scored 4 goals. You're totally right, my friend. You're totally right. Skip's nice to see you. Bring that Brazilian in from playing football to useless is a silly move. It's what they always do, though. It's what they always do. Can't see him forcing his way back past Oggy. He's got to look in the fullback. That's because he's got a big issue at fullback. But for me, Toby, if we talk about Ben Johnson, what he needs to do is start working on becoming a left back. That's what he needs to do. Right back, even at this club, he's got 2 or 3 people ahead of him, realistically. Sufal and Kira, I'd say. Left back, not as many. And actually, not just that, but for England as well. You know, if he has his international aspirations, he's got 4 or 5 players ahead of him at that position. Academy players are so 100% profit. Watch Chelsea sell most of their youngsters next book. Michael, exactly. And again, I went through it, and I went through every Premier League game this season, taking out all the academy players. On average, every Premier League club has at least 2 academy players who have played at least 5 Premier League games this season. Chelsea had 7. That's because they had to have 7 2 years ago. They couldn't buy anyone. Now they can buy someone. They'd rather go and spend 150 million, 130 million on Enzo Fernandez and not play Conor Gallagher, for example. So they will be selling a lot more of the youngsters now, and it's going to be. And there's definitely a change in the guard next season. Russ, have you used number? I can see 2. Yeah, there's only 2, and actually we will probably reduce that even further, make it one price for everyone. But we're just discussing that internally between myself and Anton in terms of how we want it to. You know, because we want to give you guys back more, and I think that might be an easier way of doing it. Like, you know, new shows, exclusive shows for members. Obviously, you get entered into all the raffles already. And some other bits and bobs we're thinking of doing as well. I wish we had a manager that believed in youth like Potter or Arteta, but does Potter believe in the youth? Or the fact is, Potter's got into a side now where they do have Reece James, they do have Conor Gallagher. Brozier was in there, but he's instead of believing in Conor Gallagher, Enzo Fernandez comes in for £100 million rather than believing in. I can't even think now, but you know what I mean. It's like, I don't think he's ever, even at Brighton, I can't remember many youth team players he's brought in. He's brought players in, such as McAllister, such as, you know, players like that. I don't think he actually. Arteta slightly differently, maybe to some extent, but even Arsenal, you know, you've got the likes of Saka. You've got the I'll find my bloody spreadsheet. Where's my bloody spreadsheet? Because that'll be easier to explain rather than show. No, that'll be easier to show rather than explain. So, and you'll get what I mean. Again, apologies if about 20 million times, but I think it's important. So here's my spreadsheet. Let's make it a bit bigger so everyone can see. So you look here, for example, Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal have had 3 players who made at least 5 appearances in the youth team in the Premier League from the academy, and that's Saka. That'd be Smith Rowe, and Nketiah. Smith Rowe is a squad player at the moment, isn't he? Whereas, you know, you look down the line here, you got, you know, some players like some teams like Fulham, obviously Brighton, Brentford. Obviously, you haven't got an academy as such. You know, I mean, although Everton will change now because Gordon's not there anymore now. So that will go down to 1. West Ham have had 2. Obviously, we've got Ben Johnson, we've got Declan Rice, and we've got and we've obviously gave Mbama a debut, so to speak. But as I said, Chelsea got 7, but that was a necessity. You know, they had to play James, they had to play Loftus-Cheek, they had to play Mason Mount, they had to play Conor Gallagher, they had to play Brozier because they didn't have it. They couldn't buy anyone. So anyway, I hope you found that interesting. I doubt he's buying them players. They have their own Sully and the new owner. Yeah, maybe he's more of a coach. Does anyone sit a block? I'm looking for a youth ticket. There we go. Any homework? Craving. Right, I'll come up with some. I won't do it now, Toes, but we'll do some homework for Monday. All right, and I'll give you the week to do it, and then you can hand it in on the Friday. All right. Remind me on Monday, and I'll think of a good one. If you've got a good one, let me know. Drop me a text. Let me know. Got to go to a shower and get ready day office. We'll listen later. Good. Got a dash. Don't forget to like the stream. Indeed. Saw something that Chelsea will be selling quite a few players. They will be able to balance the books. We should nab scouts in Brentford and Brighton, but surely it's half a day at this point, indeed. But he's across the pond. Russ, where'd you get your data? Through my eyes and through the Premier League website. So literally, I went through every Premier League squad and looked at all the appearances for the Premier League this season. So yeah, it went. I was quite bored that day. But it just helps for me. It was like, because we get people in the chat, they say, oh, Man City are giving chances and but there's two types of chances for me. There's a chance in the cup, and if we're saying that, then David Moyes has given more academy players a chance compared to any manager you've had since the early 90s. Because he's had 16 academy debutants, and actually it's almost 18 really if you include people like people we've brought in such as Okaflex and things like that. But it's 16 academy players. But people say no. But it's how they develop into the first team. If that's the case, all the bollocks that people say about City, they haven't really developed them into the Premier League side. They've got one or two or three, and we've got two. So there's no real difference there. So it's like you can't say one thing and then say, oh no, we went into okay, well that's the case, and actually it's a relatively level playing field, and it's not for me a function of West Ham. It's a function of the Premier League as a whole, and we've said this before. You can invest in players and spend time building them up and doing that, and from the ages of 10 and or you can and someone who's the same age. I mean, look at someone like Bukayo Kamara, for example, the guy from Marseille last year we were looking at. Midfielder, young, him compared to a Connor Coventry, and I think Will made a good point at We Are West Ham podcast saying, if we'd have gone out and bought a French equivalent of Connor Coventry, people go, what the fuck, he's never going to get into the first team. But anyway, it's just me, rant over. I think Scars deserves a chance after Europe. He has been done so unfairly. He's still young, mate. He's still young. He's still young. Thank you very much. He's the future. He certainly is. Incoming, trying to panic is, he's been rated 50-50 chance of leaving Man City this summer. So we'll see. And that's by Sam Lee from the Athletic. It's if you're good enough, you're old enough. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Youth are better in their first season. They have no fear. Those academy players you just reeled off aren't bad, Russ. They're not. And the fact is, they only broke into the side realistically because Chelsea, well, basically because Chelsea couldn't buy anyone. So Frank had to put them into the side. So it wasn't out of need, and it wasn't out of a want. It was out of necessity. And so now you're looking at the situation where, now they can buy players. Most of them aren't getting any game time. Someone like Enzo straight away he's gonna take over someone like Conor Gallagher's position. He could easily take over someone like Mason Mount's position. Chalobah, they've got Koulibaly, they've got Silva. Someone like they've just been and also someone like Reece James. Yep, Brozier. Not getting a look in, is he? So it's it's looking at it with, I don't know. Let's shut up. If you love West Ham and you know it, hit the like button. Age is generally indicative of other factors. You're totally right. Around 2 weeks, I was praying for the older teams to play instead of in there, like I was genuinely annoyed with the team. I think everyone was. Phillips will join the Hammers. He's injury prone. Yes. Although I think we're more likely for me. I think you're looking at someone like Dibril Sal from Eintracht Frankfurt would be a good one. Anyway, I'm going to skedaddle. Thank you very much. We've got loads coming up today. Make sure you hit the bell notification. As you said, the breaking news is we're playing on Wednesday, the 1st of March at 7:45 on ITV. Of course, it's going to be ITV. Mason Mount Fruiton signing new contracts because he's not getting any game time at the moment. He's not getting as much game time as you would. And Brozier's out for the season. You're totally right. So take care and stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith. Make sure you join us for the watch along tomorrow and all the other stuff we've got coming out. As always, I'd like to thank our lovely channel members and our partners and sponsors and everything. And we'd like to thank them at the end of each show. So take care. Bye. Don't forget to like and give us a little cheeky comment afterwards. Bye-bye.